Next speaker, please.
Shannon Takahashi, followed by Brooke Powell.
Hi. I was hoping to bring a little bit good news, but from what I understand with our problem with the ammonia, it might not be very good news anymore. But my family and I have worked at the ice rink forever. My mom, my dad, we've been there for a long time under our former landlord, John Jackson. And in order to try to save Culver Ice Rink, we've been in talks with the landowner, Mr. Karagosian, and we're able to secure a short-term lease in order to keep the ice rink alive. We wanted to reopen on March 1st and welcome everybody back to skate. We were working that out today until we got a call from the fire department, which is what I don't really understand, because we've been an ice rink for 52 years and have been inspected by them every year and have currently been totally okay to function as an ice rink. We can now continue to be an ice rink starting March 1st. All of us can skate again starting March 1st under my family. But somehow there's some sort of issue which has never been around before. The decommissioning of the ice rink was only an issue if it wasn't going to be an ice rink and if you guys were going to let the ice melt. We've been healthy and functioning safely for 52 years, and we can start again March 1st. I don't understand why we keep hitting a roadblock. It seems like the city doesn't want ice skating anymore. And I hate to say it, but we came here three meetings ago, and you said there was nothing you could do. We came again, and one of our figure skating moms found the variance, not you guys. Now we can be a rink, and now the fire department is telling us we can't open again?
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Brooke Powell, followed by Nadine Lewis.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Brooke Powell. I've been a resident of Culver City for almost 20 years. The Culver City Ice Arena is a cultural lightning in a bottle. It has brought together generations of people from different walks of life. Although admittedly it could use a little polishing to bring the luster back, the ice rink is a historic jewel in Culver City. The Culver City Ice Arena served Olympians, champions, budding athletes, amateur hockey enthusiasts, and casual skaters for 52 years before closing its doors on Sunday, February 2nd. My daughter Damara and I attended the last public session on Friday the 31st. Hundreds of people were there that night. The ice was packed. Now, onto the subject of rezoning. Culver City has a tradition of using variances and restrictions when it comes to commercial and even residential development. A case in point is my own home. A single-family home built in 1980 on a lot that was subdivided and is still considered zoned for residential medium-density multifamily, or R4. In 1980, Culver City approved a declaration of conditions and restrictions that runs with the land and affects the properties on Overland Avenue between Ocean and Virginia. My home abuts my neighbors. It specifically states in the declaration that the front and rear elevations of said buildings which shall abut shall be decorated and painted so as to present the appearance of a single building. It clarifies further that both buildings must be painted the same color and that my next door neighbor and I are jointly responsible for the maintenance and repair of the sheet metal expansion plate and roof tile cap. I'm sure there are many more examples of the city stepping in with conditions on properties that are exceptions to the general plan or the zoning plan. The rink must be revitalized and reopened as an ice rink. It is part of what makes Culver City unique. If the landowner is unable to lease to parties that would use the property for its currently zoned use, the city should explore the option of using eminent domain in a public-private partnership with entities that would keep it as a skating rink for the use of the community and for furthering the sports of hockey and figure skating. Thank you. And I do have one question for Fire Marshal Bowden. Is it possible that the system can be bypassed with another cooling system while the ammonia is evacuated to keep the ground solid?
Thank you. Mr. Bowden, are you comfortable answering that question?
Yes, and excuse me, in one of our talks with the refrigeration specialist, we asked him what would be the process for repairing or replacing the equipment. He said typically when you have an old ice rink, they would bring in a temporary cooler facility or refrigeration system, place that into operation, and then take the old system out of service and replace it with a new one, and then remove the temporary.
Yep. Can we take all the speakers first?
Yes.
Before we have staff address?
Okay. I want to get an answer to that. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Nadine Lewis, followed by Ann Oliver.
Nadine Lewis and Ann Oliver, thank you, Mayor Cooper and City Council for allowing us to speak, and my condolences to Council Member O'Leary for the loss of your uncle. I want to focus on two simple words with my short time: impartiality and discretion. Much has been said to the supporters of Culver Ice Arena about the need for the City Council to remain impartial during this process. I would like to explore two statements made by members of the City Council at the last meeting. I won't embarrass you or call you out by name, but you know who you are. And more important, the voters of Culver City, sitting and standing behind me, know who you are too. The first statement was that we should take all of our energies and open our own rink. If that doesn't reek of a council member being impartial, biased, and condescending to the supporters of Culver Ice Arena, then we need to find a new definition for the word. If the Rock Gym is telling the truth, getting another facility to open an ice rink in Culver City may take a decade. In that time, we will have lost an entire generation of figure skaters and hockey players. The second statement was, our hands are tied. I wish there was something we could do. Which leads me to my second word, discretion. The legal definition as applied to this council is the power of a public official to make decisions on various matters based upon his or her opinion within general legal guidelines. Examples of this are a district attorney can determine if someone is charged with a crime of a misdemeanor or a felony. That's discretion. A governor has broad discretion to pardon criminals. And here in this setting, this planning commission, this city council has the discretion to grant or not grant a variance on the zoning ordinance already in place. So to the city council who told us to build our own rink, we turn to the Rock Gym.
Thank you.
Ann would like to.
I'm Ann Oliver, and I'd like to cede my time to Nadine.
Okay, do you have a speaker card? We'll cede you 1 minute.
To the Rock Gym, we say to you, go build your business in another location. And to the city council who told us that you can't make this all better, stop being partial and start using your discretion. We will remember your names at the ballot box. We ask you to use your discretion on the following items. Keep the ice and all the generators on and frozen while we unravel this legal mess. Use your discretion to keep the building part of Culver City's historic preservation program. Use your discretion to strictly enforce the zero tolerance height exceptions under the zoning code. And most important, keep Culver City alive. Tonight in Sochi, we have athletes dreaming of Olympic gold. Look into the eyes of these children and their coaches. They have the same dreams, and you're turning it into a nightmare. I'm asking you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Kevin Healy. Kevin Healy is going to be followed by Lisa Anderson.
Mr. Mayor.
Your time has started, yes. Yeah.
Okay, you're receiving an article that I found online regarding a Trader Joe's expansion. This was into a Portland, Oregon neighborhood that was historically a black community. The community voiced their objection due to basically elitism. They thought they would eliminate the lower urban community that was there and present. Trader Joe's heard that and respectfully stated, We run neighborhood stores, and our approach is simple. If a neighborhood does not want a Trader Joe's, we understand, and we won't open the store in question. I know it's not your decision, but the fact that to this point, prior to Shannon's revelation, they have guaranteed they're going to fight and move into that space. That is not the type of business I want in my community. When someone clearly states, we don't want it, we have something we want, and they force the issue. Wanted to bring that to your attention. You could read that. Also wanted to say came up the fact that they were a small, hand-built community business. And that's what Culver Ice has been for 52 years, not the 15 that they were. Kathy Machado was the first Hispanic skater to represent the United States in the Winter Olympics. Richard Ewell was the first African-American to win a national title in both pair skating and single, all starting in Culver Ice. This is flat out a historic building.
Thank you.
Lisa Anderson? Lisa Anderson? She might have had to have left. Okay. Gary Abrams, followed by Carrie Anderson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Ms. Megan. Hello. My name is Gary Abrams. I'm running for City Council. I am no longer amazed at the actions of the Culver City elected officials, school district, or City Council. First, they want us to believe that rock climbing and yoga would generate more than $68,000 a month. Next, they want us to believe that the property has a variance that limits the use of the property, a miracle, which would require a public hearing and a vote by the council to change. The owner, Mr. Gargosian, has stated that there is a master plan for Culver City which supersedes the variance, and I believe he's an attorney. Even so, the council has a history of siding with the money. Do I need to say more? About 5 years ago, right here, the council gave a public notice late Friday announcing a Monday night council meeting to approve a $6 million loan to a private developer. A diligent neighbor informed the citizens, and the numbers of attendees shocked the council, so they voted to postpone the activity for the next meeting. That was before Megan and Jim Clark's time. Only now, the mayor, Cooper, voted against the postponed meeting. Of course, it eventually went for the developer. Now it smells funny. We have had no documents from the city. I'm just hoping no underlying developer is sitting in the wings, hoping for things to go away, so they can come hat in hand to the city and say now that the property is just a piece of land that's dilapidated and we can move forward with development. Hoping that it stays a skating rink was the exact words Mayor Cooper said at the candidates forum sponsored by the senior citizen last Wednesday. Since we're at let's hope to win the lottery without a ticket. The will of the people for the property to remain a skating rink.
Thank you.
All that is required is the political will on the part of the City Hall and an active,
Thank you, sir.
And an active engagement from Culver City.
You've used your time, Mr. Abrams. Thank you.
Carrie Anderson, followed by David Metzler.
It's Carrie following Gary. It's kind of serendipitous. The luck of the draw, my cards was behind his cards. Shenanigans. That's a term that comes to mind for me for the last 13 years of attending city council meetings. Interesting that we have a March 1st that they can, the ice skating rink could come back up and running. Shenanigans. Earlier, there was talking about the red light cameras, okay? Because we want safety in Culver City. 10 years ago, if a traffic light was out the officers would sit there and write you a ticket as you went through the out traffic light. Okay? That was city policy. It took a website and me 3 times a city council meeting to get that changed. So when they talk about safety of red light cameras, I don't believe that. It's shenanigans. Okay? All you have to do is look at the Westfield Culver City Mall. It was said by Mr. Cole, very public process, no last minute deals. I challenge anyone to go to the archives of the city. The video archives, March 11th, 2009, at 2:16 p.m. The topic was on-site advertising for the mall. A city council member who's no longer a city council member said he's very proud of it. It's only going to advertise stuff available at the mall. An expert said, well, we're only going to advertise something available at the mall. This is a very public process, okay? We now have billboards on the mall. What's the difference between on-site advertising and billboards? On-site advertising, if you sell Converse shoes, you have a Converse shoes, or Forever 21, you have a big Forever 21, okay? Shenanigans in Culver City. We have billboards, which are advertised movies and TV shows. So watch these people. Shenanigans.
David Metzler, followed by Stephen Rose.
Good evening, Council. At the last meeting, someone brought up the idea of finding a new location or a new building for the ice rink, essentially giving up on the idea of keeping the one that we've got. It's certainly a logical idea and a practical idea, but I would argue that it's the job of this city council to not only be efficient in there and practical, but also to protect the history and the community that exists within this city. There are plenty of examples in this city of things that could be argued as inefficient use of resources. Today in front of my house there were 10 or 20 people up in trees, cutting trees all day long. 60-year-old trees, and one could argue that we could just replace those trees with cactus and we'd save ourselves a lot of water and expense. But we love those trees, they're part of our history, and we want them to stay. We have a hotel in Culver City that's shaped like a triangle. It's a terribly inefficient design. It has an elevator that doesn't stop on the second floor. No one would design a hotel like that anymore. The city would not allow a hotel to be designed like that anymore. And it would make a lot of sense to tear it down, build underground parking, and do a much more efficient building there. But we love the Culver Hotel. It's part of our history, and we want it to stay. And much like the Culver Hotel, the Culver City Ice Rink is a unique design, and if you were to build a new one, it would never be built like that again. Much like the triangle wedge of the Culver Hotel, for many reasons, no one is going to build a rink like that in Culver City again. And I would argue no rink at all might ever be built in Culver City again. And we love that ice rink, and it's part of our history, and we want it to stay. I asked the City Council to do everything in its power to preserve the current use of the building as an ice rink, not to grant any variances for any other use. A friend of mine once said that the world is full of capitalist tragedies. And I would ask that this council not be part of one and to save the ice rink. Just a quick couple questions I wanted to add before my time is up. One of them is the zoning in 1960 mentioned an alley, a 20-foot alley that a fence was built to block. The implication of that being that there was an alley that continued through the property. I'd like to know if that alley is owned by the city, if there's an easement or any kind of city ownership of that alleyway. And the other question is about the decommissioning and the evacuation of the ammonia. Why does it need to happen immediately is one question. And if there were a new operator coming in a week or a month, what are the cost of evacuating the ammonia and then putting everything back versus the cost of maintaining the current state of the ice rink as it is right now? The council should know the cost of those two different options and know how long, there's some intersect there between where it makes sense to keep it open for some period of time waiting for a new tenant and evacuating all of the ammonia, because it has been operating safely for quite some time.
Thank you. We'll have your answers to your questions at the end of the speaker cards.
Tamara Coffin.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for your diligence in public safety and getting this taken care of. I deeply appreciate it. I do feel somewhat assured this week, actually very assured. The thing that now sits in front of me is we can reopen the rink, and there is a capability of bypassing this system. I understand the anhydrous ammonia is something that has to be dealt with, but it can be dealt with, and the system can be bypassed. I was asked earlier this evening if any legal action needed to be taken, could I be used in that action? And I have to be honest with everybody here in that the law scares me. I don't know anything about it. It scares the heck out of me. When my late husband passed away, they didn't get to him in time after his breathing tube came out. I could have had a huge lawsuit, wrongful death lawsuit. I don't believe that that's the appropriate way to handle things. In his death, he was free. This rink has given life to his child, to my child. I will fight for this. I will fight for life. I think that's what we all enjoy about the rink, is that it gives us all a sense of community, a sense of home. I've gone down to Torrance. It's beautiful, but Culver City is our home.
Thank you.
The next set of speakers have 1 minute each. Monica Rose Karras, followed by Michelle Rattel.
Hi. To finish the statement from Rachel Flatt, since I think other people might want to hear it. It is the work ethic, perseverance, and the patience to learn a new skill and realizing that it may not take a day or two, but it may take a year or two to be able to perform a skill at a proficient level. And again, it is at my local training rink where those skills have been learned. Friendships are built through days, weeks, years of training together, and camaraderie develops amongst training mates, coaches, staff, and families of skaters. And it is these relationships that you get through tough training days or a bad competition. We truly become a family, and that comes with those thousands of hours of training together at the local rink. It is a local rink where each family comes together that provides a stable community where each child can blossom as an athlete. And as Mark Twain said, the two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. What if Dorothy Hamill's family did not have a local rink to skate at when she started skating?
Thank you.
Michelle Rattel, followed by Deborah Shapiro.
I'm here. That Mindy Page couldn't get to. This is from Wayne Denton, Court Commissioner for the Superior Court in Inglewood. To whom it may concern, as a long-standing resident of Culver City, I was deeply saddened and appalled to hear the closing of the Culver City skating rink. I resided in Culver City since 1974 and have always considered the rink more than a place for family fun, but as a virtual monument belonging to Culver City and the whole west side of Los Angeles. Whenever I pass by the rink, it harkens me back to my dating years when a date would be capped off with a trip to the rink. Currently, I'm a juvenile court commissioner. I'm assigned to Inglewood Juvenile Court. Culver City comes under my jurisdiction. There are fewer places enough for young boys or girls to go in the evening hours without being accosted or tempted with drugs. The last thing we need is one more safe haven being taken away. I sincerely beseech the powers that be to reconsider the long-term ramifications of closing the rink. Thank you, Wayne Denton. And just on the side note, I was one of those kids who managed to stay out of trouble by being at the rink. So,
thank you.
Deborah Shapiro, followed by Annie Burrows.
Reading another one of the letters that Mindy Page couldn't get to. This is from the police department, this on police department letterhead from the city of Santa Monica.
Pull the microphone down just a little bit so we can hear you.
Sorry, I'm a little short. It's addressed to Mayor Cooper. Honorable Mayor Cooper, we are writing to you on behalf of the Santa Monica Police Department and the Santa Monica Police Activities League. We have learned that the Culver City Ice Rink may be required to close as early as February 2014. While a decision to close a facility which has become an area institution does not come easily or without much debate, we wanted to share our perspective that, in addition to its local benefits, the Culver City Ice Rink has proven to be an invaluable site for adult and youth recreation and also youth intervention efforts occurring in the broader environment. A number of the Santa Monica Police Department's officers are police explorers, and the young people who attend PAL have bonded over the ice while playing games of ice hockey and broomball. Many of us had never previously skated on ice, found ourselves laughing, sharing stories, and having an all-around good time as we broke various gender, cultural, economic, and social barriers on the rink.
Thank you.
Annie Burrows, followed by Deborah Curtis.
I just wanted to say a few words in light of the new developments of the Takahashi family having the opportunity to lease the ice rink. When I found out about Planet Granite, as part of my efforts to discourage them, I did research on environmental issues regarding decommissioning of an ice rink. So I contacted several rink specialists, one in Boston and one in Minnesota, and a refrigeration company. And in every case, they said that the ammonia only became an environmental hazard when the ice is melted and the rink is decommissioned. And that ammonia is a common refrigerant used in most ice rinks around the country. So I just am hoping that the fire department will do a little further investigation and check into that, because as I understand it, ammonia is what is usually used. It's only a problem when the ice is melted. And then we can all be happy and we can be skating at Culver Ice on March 1st. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deborah Curtis is the last speaker, and then I have 3 written comments.
When I was 26 years old and homesick for New York, I was actually working at TriStar TV, now Sony Pictures TV, where I spent 15 years as the vice president of current programming. I was homesick for New York. I went ice skating at the Culver Ice Arena, and I saw adults taking classes and said, hey, I want to do that. I entered my first competition at the age of 34. The encouragement and support I've received from everyone at the Culver Ice Arena, from parents to skaters to coaches, has been unique and unparalleled. Last week, skating at other rinks, including, well, a couple different rinks, has reinforced for me what the Culver rink is all about, and something that I have yet to find at other facilities: warmth, support, community, family, and friendships. And so I stand before you to voice my support and implore you to realize our dreams and support our efforts to come home.
Thank you. The written comments, please, Ms.
Yes, the first comment is from Garrick Chan. He says, when I was 6 years old, I asked my mother if I could learn how to play ice hockey. She signed me up for figure skating lessons instead. The point is, the Culver Ice Rink is an important part of my childhood, and for many of my friends, I remember many birthday parties, hot chocolate, and greasy French fries. Please keep this community center open for generations to come. A Friday night date at the ice rink is an image of perfect romance. At the rock climbing gym, not so much. Wilma Arterberry writes, if possible, the 2 owners, Culver Ice Rink and Planet Granite, merge the 2 businesses, share or divide the building, half offices, ice rink, half Planet Granite, and build mountain of rocks to climb and keep everything. And Gabriel John Margosian writes, first we lost the studio drive-in, and now Culver City is going to be robbed of our ice rink. It has an impeccable safety record. And that's the end of the written comment.